The 2018 Benelli Tornado 302R. Benelli must have lost its old world charm of making machines pecked with impeccable high-cap mills and is finding it difficult to proclaim its identity amidst the modern and competitive world, even more after a Chinese firm acquired it. But now, it seems like a thing of the past, more of a myth one could say. Benelli has started showcasing us products designed by CentroStile Benelli, and slowly their reputation seems to have gotten back to its original charm, albeit with entry-level machines. The Italian marquee Benelli, which after raking in some interesting numbers with its range of naked streetfighters, has now come up with its first fully fared motorcycle in the entry-level segment, the 302R. With what is supposed to just be a fairing slapped on issue with the naked TNT 300, the 302R promises more than that. With what is supposed to just be a fairing slapped on issue with the naked TNT 300, the 302R promises more than that. Styling. The Tornado 302R inevitably manages to create a good first impression, with its subtle design and impressive specifications. Of course, it is still not that outrageous as compared to the bigger capacity Benelli. Nevertheless, with its stylish swooping lines, dual headlamps and a fully fared body, it manages to get the juices running for every motorcycle aphrodisiac. The Benelli 302R is intentionally an outrageous design and scores brownie points with its arresting silhouette. Looking nothing like its elder sibling, the Tornado 1130, this 302R carries all that Italian flair, and you would not be entirely wrong to say that it is just a fairing slapped-on version of the TNT 300. In fact, it is more than just that. Aside from a couple of bits and bobs here and there, like the instrument cluster, the motorcycle is all new. The first obvious perspective you will find is that chiseled fairing, which outrightly sets the tone of this being a sports bike, sometimes larger than what its displacement suggests. It all starts with a gritty twin-pod headlamp unit underlined by the DRLs at the front, which is some of the largest ones seen within the competition. Also, the front windshield is functional, but the rear view mirrors win the steel game. They suit perfectly to the dimensions and are aptly placed onto the fairings itself. The sides have this boomerang curve sculpted into the fairings that have lines and curves neatly tucked to complement each other and play their part in giving the Tornado an upmarket niche. The tank section also gets a neatly sculpted design that looks bulbous and works to be in favor of the bike's overall persona. The tail section, however, could have been less loud and a little short, but nonetheless, does not spoil much for the 302R. You can still find some bits of the trellis frame exposed, and Benelli has tastefully finished the frame with red and aluminum touches. The instrument panel on the Tornado is borrowed from the naked sibling and includes an analog tachometer, and digital speedometer, fuel gauge, trip meter and odometer. The exhaust canisters are also beautifully crafted in brushed steel finish and aluminum end caps. This, along with the fat rubber and the twin discs up front, brings a touch of premium to the bike. Of course, it is still not that outrageous as compared to the bigger capacity Benelli. Nevertheless, with its stylish swooping lines, dual headlamps and a fully fared body, it manages to get the juices running for every motorcycle aphrodisiac. Overall dimension. Powertrain. The 302 is a twin-cylinder, 300cc motorcycle that breathes with the same power mill that runs on the naked TNT. The engine pumps out some pretty impressive numbers: 38 horsepower at 10,000 revolutions per minute of maximum power and 20 pound-feet of maximum torque at 9,000 revolutions per minute. Given its parallel twin layout, this fuel-injected, liquid-cooled mill on the bike is refined and has a linear feel in its power delivery. Although similar mill runs on the TNT, this Tornado gets altered gear ratios which are now better spaced for precise shifts and retuned mapping to suit the sports bike dynamics. Hence, unlike the higher revving naked, this bike gets a stronger mid-range, which is more practical to use it both in the city and the highways. Of course, it is Euro IV compliant. The engine is mated to a 6-speed gearbox, with the initial ratios set on the taller side and the higher ones on the shorter side. Like all the Benellis, the 302 has the potential to sweep you off your feet with its addictive exhaust note. The engine pumps out some pretty impressive numbers: 38 horsepower at 10,000 revolutions per minute of maximum power and 20 pound-feet of maximum torque at 9,000 revolutions per minute. Given its parallel twin layout, this fuel-injected, liquid-cooled mill on the bike is refined and has a linear feel in its power delivery. Engine specification. Ride and handling. Even though it is an entry-level moniker, you cannot resist yourself from throwing a leg across and getting the feel of an Italian sports bike. What you will notice is that the riding position is neither entirely aggressive nor as upright, but is extremely comfortable for sure. Sporting a low-rung handlebar, the Tornado justifies its track spec designs along with the adjustable pegs. Benelli has tweaked the trellis frame and the chassis to suit sporty ride dynamics with an even weight distribution towards both the wheels. Benelli has equipped the 302R with the best of hardware, which includes trellis frame, exhaust canister, 41mm inverted hydraulic telescopic forks at the front and centrally mounted preload adjustable monoshock at the rear. They are a tad stiff but are designed to work in harmony and offer the best on each cobblestone. All of this helps the bike lean easily around corners and is comfortable doing it all day long until the footpegs start grinding off before you could achieve maximum lean. The Tornado also becomes the first bike in its segment to be adorned with dual disc brakes at front, while a single disc brake finds its presence at the rear and a dual-channel ABS setup. Supporting this will be fat Pirelli tires on both ends, which make the bike one sweet machine to ride on both straight stretches as well as intimidating corners. Sporting a low-rung handlebar, the Tornado justifies its track spec designs along with the adjustable pegs. Benelli has tweaked the trellis frame and the chassis to suit sporty ride dynamics with an even weight distribution towards both the wheels. Chassis specifications. Price. First showcased at the 2015 EICMA show as the Tornado 302, this entry from the Italian powerhouse managed to excite the enthusiasts ever since. Although it took more than expected, it is finally being launched for the European and Asian markets as the Benelli 302R. It comes with a price tag that reads 3.48 lakh rupees or $5,100. It won't be coming to this of the pond yet, but having a potent machine even at the entry point is not a bad affair at all. We hope Benelli is reading this. You can get one in 3 different matte shades: white and red, green and red, and black and red. Competition. Yamaha YZF-R3. Yamaha believes in leaning into corners and coming out of it smoothly and also going fast. The Japanese two-wheeler giant has manufactured some of the world's fastest and sweetest handling bikes, but the latest offering from their stable is the new YZF-R3, which the manufacturer is calling one light and practical everyday usable motorcycle. The R3 too looks similar to the R25, and its styling has been heavily borrowed from the other motorcycle, and perhaps this the new styling DNA of the YZF series, which consists of some significant motorcycles including the recently added R3, powered by a 2-cylinder, liquid-cooled, 4-stroke, DOHC, 4-valves 321cc engine. This motorcycle produces more power than the R25. The engine mated to a sequential 6-speed gearbox produces about 42 bhp of peak power at 10,750 revolutions per minute and 20 pound-feet of torque at 9,000 revolutions per minute. This motorcycle also has electronic fuel-injected engine which will send the exact amount of oil to the engine, making sure that the motorcycle receives the right amount of power and without any wastage of oil. A set of 41mm KYB front forks provides a plush ride with monoshock on the swing arm. A 2-pot piston and anvil caliper bites a single 298mm front disc, and a 1-pot caliper binds the 220mm rear disc. Kawasaki Ninja 300. The 300 had replaced the undisputed quarter-liter King back in 2013, and the new bike was sportier, more aggressive and more fun to ride than the lesser-cubed 250cc Ninja. The bike was also packed with enough alphabet soup tech acronyms that were scarce in other motorcycles in the segment at that time, and this made it very entertaining and accessible to new riders. Having remodeled to keep pace with modern superbikes, it very much looks like it carries a 4-pot in its belly. The styling curves and lines have remained the same since the 2013 model, because why will you change something that is already good? The 2017 model will feature the same 4-stroke, parallel twin, liquid-cooled, 296cc engine that has been running since 2013. The digital fuel-injected unit is capable of churning out a healthy 38.5 bhp at 11,000 revolutions per minute, with peak torque 20.6 pound-feet delivered at 10,000 revolutions per minute. This is a high-revving engine which can max at an astonishing 13,000 revolutions per minute, tuned to deliver strong low and mid-range torque. It is a highly responsive and a reactive power mill that rewards the rider into being very engaging to extract every ounce of power from it. Kawasaki's uni-track monoshock system tends to the swing arm and comes with adjustable preload, and the 37mm forks push the wheelbase out to a compact, 55.3-inch long, and the entire bike measures out at only 79.3 inches overall. The single, 290mm front brake disc and 220mm rear come cut in a wave pattern that dissipates heat more rapidly than a straight-cut rotor. Discs at both ends of the bike get pinched by twin-pot calipers, and the Ninja is available with or without ABS protection. Verdict: the 300cc category has had a condescending effect on the two-wheeler market, and they got in the fresh breed of entry-level fully fared performance motorcycles to blaze the much-needed thrilling experience to enthusiasts and purists. This 302 Tornado will try to bring havoc in the sales of its competition and make motorcyclists get into a realm of more content and less bitter. As was the TNT 300, the Benelli Tornado 302 also treads on one automotive's iconic names, Benelli. The 300cc segment is getting filled with promising machines as we speak, many of which are not terribly enticing, and it is good to see Benelli is serving us with something like the 302, a bike someone would want to see in their garage. It has the upmarket equipment, the segment's only dual-disc brakes up front, USD suspension, and a decent engine. A concoction not too bad, to be honest. Bringing some Italian flair into our streets was never a bad sight, and this too will do justice to the brand name it carries. Hopefully, Benelli can price it right if they want to see sales soaring. Love it. Authentic Italian styling, first in segment twin-disc brake setup. Leave it. Availability in the US heavier than competition.
If you liked this video, please share your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.